Hey everyone, so I found this interesting. This is from Newsweek. Jon Stewart gives Trump credit for vision and leadership. Comedian Jon Stewart believes Trump was better able to fulfill America's desire for vision and leadership than his counterpart, which helps explain his victory over Kamala Harris in the presidential election. Well, it's really interesting because I think Kamala Harris definitely had a vision and has been in a position of leadership. Um, so I don't really think Kamala Harris loses in terms of vision and leadership. But let's hear what Stewart has to say. He represents something, Stewart said during the Thursday episode of his weekly show podcast. What I think is a country is thirsty. We're a really thirsty country for vision and leadership. I would add that also a lot of people are thirsty for entertainment and a shaking up of things. But yeah, I think he's right here. Stewart was responding to Brookings Institute fellow Richard Reeves' suggestion that Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley could have swept up an even greater portion of the electorate in the 2024 election. Turning to the Democrats and their failure to display the same qualities as the president elect, Stewart said that despite its sound policy platform, the party was plagued by, quote, institutional status quo thinking. Whether you agree with the Democrats on it or not, they do have a lot of institutional thinking. I don't know about status quo. I think that Kamala Harris deep down did want to build on what Joe Biden had done, but she didn't want to go out and publicly diss him. So that's why she said she wouldn't have done a thing different than Biden. Quote, you cannot run on the audacity of hope and govern with the timidity of the possible, he said. That's just not going to connect with people. Vision and leadership are lacking in the Democratic Party and have been for a very long time. And even when they have the vision of leadership, they don't govern that way. They govern institutionally and to the status quo, and they're not creative in their thinking. It sounds sort of like he might be referring to Barack Obama here. While known for his criticisms of Trump and the GOP throughout the election, Stewart has frequently attacked the Democrats for their strategy and failure to appeal to American voters. During his opening monologue for The Daily Show on November 11th, Stewart said that the party overtly focused on polling, analytics, and canvassing while neglecting to acknowledge voters' belief that government wasn't working for them. On Monday's episode of The Daily Show, Stewart said again that the Democrats had failed to launch a sufficient strategy to counter the president elect. Even those putting up resistance to Trump's agenda don't seem to understand who they're dealing with, he said before playing a clip of media reports over Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren's claim that the Trump transition team had broken the law by missing a deadline to sign an ethics pledge. Okay, so do I think that this is a fair thing to say? I think so. I don't know if he represents competent leadership, but he represents someone who is confident and willing to step in to be a leader. Whether he's a good leader or a bad leader is highly debatable, but he certainly offers a vision in terms of, how he purports to turn the country around, complaining about prices being too high, uh, aggressively arguing for mass deportation, um, his views on education, again, like dismantling the Department of Education. So, sort of this anti institutionalist thinking. And, Democrats, whether you like it or not, seemed like the institutionalist party. And I think being institutionalist isn't really a bad thing. But with that came being viewed as too defensive of the status quo, and people just wanted to shake up the status quo for better or for worse, come hell or high water. And if that meant electing someone like Donald Trump, then so be it to them. Um, I think misinformation, unfortunately, played a really large role in this election. There were a lot of people who did not know the difference between um, certain things, and in fact did not know the similarities between certain things. For example, there were people who were saying that they like the Affordable Care Act, but they don't like Obamacare, and so that's why they were supporting Trump. And it's like, wait, those two are the same thing. Uh, but the legislation has been around for 14 years, so at this point, I guess it's not fresh in their memory that they're the same thing. But yeah, I think Stewart's right here, and I think, yeah. Look, sorry, I don't think it's wrong to give Trump credit where it's due on some things. There might be a lot of resistance liberal types who are like, "Oh, no, he's a very bad man. We can never, ever, ever give him credit." But you know, he offers something. Um, there's stuff Democrats can learn from him. Do Democrats want to become authoritarians like him? Probably not. Do Democrats want to become more aggressive, more vocal, more crass like him? There may be some advantages to that. There really may be. Um, Democrats kind of just treat him with kid gloves. Meanwhile, Trump goes out and calls the media the enemy of the people, talks about the enemy from within, calls Democrats vermin, um, just is ruthless in attacking his opposition. Whereas Democrats are like, "You're a very naughty man, sir. You did bad things and you smashed a porn star, and that's very not good." Uh, so, yeah, uh, Stewart's got a point here. What Democrats will learn from this going forward, I don't know. We've got years until the next election. Um, I think that they'll be able to mobilize well in 2026 to take on Trump. I think they'll actually be able to offer a better vision for the future while they're the party that's not in power. I think we're at a point where the opposition party generally just has an easier time. And we're going to keep flipping back and forth, both the Senate and the House, and then probably even the presidency as well, with just single term presidents. Um, you'll have the House switching every 2 years or so, every 2 years, every 4 years. Same with the Senate, every 2 years, every 4 years, as people are just more and more dissatisfied and they want a better vision. And being in the opposition helps you lay out a cleaner vision because you're not the one in power with the ability to lay it out. And then when you get in power, they often struggle to lay out their vision. So yeah, Trump being the opposition here just helps with him laying out a vision. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments about Stewart's uh, credit to Trump and his opinion. Please leave a like, comment, or subscribe if you found this video interesting. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next video.